Herkese merhabalar. Bugün Travel Tech Hub'ın 3. günündeyiz ve en önemli günlerinden bir tanesindeyiz. Çünkü online satışın otellerde merkezi olan, kaptan köşkü olan tüm online stratejileriniz, online satış stratejilerini bize belirlediğiniz, sizin ön büro sisteminizle bağlantınızı sağlayan, fiyat ve müsaitliklerinizi yönettiğiniz, kanal yöneticisi, channel manager eğitimini yapacağız. Ve yine bu eğitim için bu konuda gerçekten duayen isimlerden biri olan bizim Hotel Linkage ürün müdürü, yine Polonya ofisimizde yer alan Pavel Reitel bu eğitimi bizlere verecek. Bu kanal yönetimi konusu gerçekten çok enteresan konulardan bir tanesi. Ben şahsen kanal yönetimi, yani channel manager teknolojisini çok zor buluyorum ve hani bunlarla ilgili case'lerden elimden geldiğince kaçınırım. Çünkü kompleks bir ürün. Kompleks bir ürün olmasının sebebi sadece kendi başına çalışan değil, aynı zamanda bağlandığı teknolojilerin yetenekleri kadar çalışan bir sistem. Dolayısıyla siz kanal yöneticisi programını öğrendiğinizde tek başına kanal yöneticisi programını öğrenmenizle o iş bitmiyor. Aynı zamanda kanal yöneticisi programının bağlandığı teknolojileri de tanımanız, onların altyapısını, yeteneklerini de bilmeniz gerekiyor. Dolayısıyla iyi bir kanal yöneticisi kullanıcısı ya da iyi bir kanal yöneticisi, ürün geliştiricisi bağlandığı PMS'leri, CRS'leri, GDS'leri, Booking Engine'leri, OTA'leri, Metasearch'leri hepsini tanıması gerekiyor. Çünkü bir sorun olduğunda onu sadece dahili olarak o programın içinde değil, bağlı olduğu kanallarla ilgili değerlendirip oradaki bilgi birikiminizle de değerlendirmeniz gerekiyor. O yüzden benim gerçekten seyahat teknolojileri arasında en komplike bulduğum, en zor bulduğum konu başlıklarından bir tanesidir. Yine bu programı geliştirmek ciddi bir mühendislik zekası gerektiren bir konudur. İşte bu programı geliştiren şirketin arkasındaki beyinlerden biri olan Pavel, yani bu alanda benim zor gün destekçim, başım her sıkıştığında kapısını çaldım ve bu işi aslında birebir olarak birçok case'de ondan öğrendiğim, benim de öğretmenim diyebileceğim Pavel bugün bizlerle birlikte. Hello Pavel, welcome to Hotel Linkage. I've just told many nice things about you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to this tech travel conference. I'm really delighted to be with you. So I hope you will benefit from today's session on the channel management, and you would be able to introduce more of channel management features into your daily activities.
So thank you, Pavel. Just let me give our attendees a quick introduction. Okay. What we will do today, I asked Pavel to make it as easy as possible for the first 1 hour, like channel management 101. So for anyone, even in the beginner level, can understand what channel management is. As I stated in the beginning of my speech, channel manager really heart of your online sales, where you build your online sales strategy, where you manage your prices, inventory, the technology that connect your PMS if you have that connection to all your distribution channels. So it's heart of your online sales. So it is very important tool, but boring tool. I don't know, maybe Pavel like it, but I find it quite boring sometimes. So anyway, so we'll be with you almost 2 hours. If you have any question, please shoot it through Q&A icon in the bottom of your Zoom screen. We will be happy to answer it during the presentation, right? Is it a problem for you, Pavel? Do you mind if I interrupt you and ask the questions, or would you prefer to answer question at the end of your presentation?
So for me, it's even easier, you know, when you interrupt me and when you ask me question in between of different blogs. So please go ahead with interrupting me anytime you need, or anytime when there is a question that needs to be addressed. So yeah, I have prepared like a PowerPoint presentation to show you some screens with some definitions and the system images so that everyone can understand the basics of the channel management. And then after this introduction, as you stated, we can go for discussion.
Sure.
Discuss
Perfect.
more advanced models. For me, it's not boring, you know, it's my life. So, so I hope that for you it would not be boring. This entire presentation would not be boring neither. So
No, I'm sure you'll. I was telling people that you are the one of the best person who has a broad knowledge about channel management. So I'm sure that you are one of the right person to tell about channel management, even in the world. I really mean it. So thank you for your time and thank you for your contribution to Travel Tech Hub, Pavel. So we are with you. If you want, you can start it. By the way, some of our attendees are raising hand. Maybe they click it by mistake. But just to let you know, you can ask any question from the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We will be happy to answer them. And please don't think that your question might be silly, because people sometimes afraid that their question might be silly, so they somehow don't want to ask questions. But please shoot any question, so we will be happy to answer it as much as possible, because we think that it's important for everyone to have basics, everyone to understand basics of channel management. So thank you very much once again, and we are with you, Pavel.
Okay, so I will start sharing my screen at my presentation with you. Just confirm that it is already online and you can see it.
Yes, we can see it and all looks perfect.
Okay, thank you very much. So, so today I will guide you through different aspects of channel management. Channel management understood as the process of managing online distribution channels in order to sell hotel inventory to various agencies and operators around the world. So we meet in a really weird and strange time. So due to coronavirus, our industry has been hit extremely hard, with too many hotels struggling right now to make both ends meet. But at the same time, coronavirus did not destroy principles of channel management. So we will focus on them today, and we will focus on how to effectively use them in the right now and in the nearest future.
And Pavel, I think channel management becomes even more important, I think, during and after this pandemic, because everything's, I think, getting more online, and it's great opportunity for hotels to sell their inventory through online via channel manager. It makes their life easier, and this tool help them to manage it more effectively and cleverly.
Yeah. So right now, what I observe is that channel management is even more important than it used to be before, due to the fact that right now business travel is almost non-existent. So you cannot expect many companies sending their employees to various properties. But at the same time, the online channels can bring you those guests that are awaited. So I would say that the pressure on online channels right now, and mostly on OTA channels, is much higher than it used to be before. So in this aspect, I would say that the channel management is even more important than before the coronavirus.
Correct.
Okay, so let's stick to some definition first. So a channel manager provides a single point of control for all your online distribution channels. It is dedicated for hotels and vacation rentals of all sizes. And it automates the channel management and transmission of prices, restrictions, and availability information to OTAs, GDSs, wholesalers, booking engines. And as I heard in Turkish during your introduction, Erhan, you were mentioning meta searches. So
Right.
we treat meta searches as a part of this OTA world. So as you can see in the graph, Channel Manager has been put to the center of the distribution process, which is pure truth. Channel Manager drives and supports effective distribution, and by any means is at the center of effective distribution process. You can manage your online channels manually, then your efforts are in the center of the distribution process, or you can use dedicated software that will speed up this process for you and brings you additional benefits. So Channel Manager can be a standalone tool, so without any PMS connected. This option is mostly chosen by smaller hotels for daily management of prices, allotment, and restrictions, and of course reservations. It means that hotel users insert prices, allotment, restrictions manually into the Channel Manager, and Channel Manager sends it out to several channels connected. And the same applies to reservations. All bookings made in online channels are registered in the Channel Manager, but still hotel users should manually place them, move them into the PMS, into the property management system. We can talk also about another reality when a Channel Manager is a PMS connected tool, as you can see in here. This PMS connection brings great automation to distribution process in general, eliminating much, if not most, manual administration of channels. In this model, real availability from PMS is delivered into the Channel Manager, and then the Channel Manager distributes this real availability to several channels. And on the other hand, reservations made online in OTAs, GDSs website, on this part of the graph, lands in the Channel Manager, and then the Channel Manager can share those reservations with a PMS. So when we talk about an ecosystem with PMS and Channel Manager working together, we can have like a perfect cycle of data distribution. And this is the basic graph how the hotel ecosystem can be prepared, can be set. There are a bit more players on the market, a bit more system on the market that can interfere and can be put into the system. For example, we talk about rate intelligence systems, we talk about revenue management systems that can be connected either to hotels PMS or directly into the Channel Manager. We are talking about some tools for upselling your hotel rooms. So this is like a simplified graph. It can be, of course, broadened, but we will discuss it a bit later. So let's still focus on those basics.
So Pavel, while we are on that graph, which is a great graph, by the way, can I ask you to clarify the difference between CRS or channel manager, or is there any difference between CRS and channel manager? What is CRS and what is channel manager?
Yeah, so in general, CRS is a software for this, like an addition to PMSs. This CRS means central reservation system, and CRS allows individual hotels and chains to manage reservations from a central department. But still, CRS has a bit different functionality than the Channel Manager itself. So Channel Manager is a bridge between a PMS and OTAs, GDSs, and CRS is as I said, is like an addition to a PMS and helps daily activities of each property of each hotel.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Pavel.
Okay, so right now, I would like to go with you through the Channel Manager benefits. I have listed some of them. This list is for sure not full, not completed yet. And there are, as you can see, there are a large number of benefits that that can be mentioned and that can be shown to any user of the channel manager. So first of all, when we talk about channel manager and channel management, we can focus on easy management. So easy to use channel management of all online sales channels in one place. Channel manager calculates and updates all rate plans over selected channels. No more manual actions required in each channel separately from hotel users. So when we talk about channel manager benefits, we should mention one of the biggest benefits, which is time savings. So channel manager allows you to manage the whole online sales at a single point of control. Managing several channels on your own is impossible to sustain. This means you have to forego many other activities. A channel manager allows for as many channel connections as you want. So we do have customers with 5 or 7 connections, but for example, in Spain, we do have hoteliers that use, let's say, 25 connections, and they still can handle that through the channel manager. So this is like a quite powerful tool that that brings great time savings to hotel managers or revenue managers in general. What is interesting, channel manager has a modular structure. Channel manager lets you start with the features you require today or the channels you require today, and then you can add new feature or elements like new channels, like a PMS or RMS freely later on. So this is like a very flexible system that you can use, and the system can grow with you. The system can grow with hoteliers. Increasing occupancy. Channel manager offers you insights to optimize your strategy for increasing your hotel's occupancy. Having better control over your inventory can result in receiving more reservation, and what is natural, increasing your occupancy level. Channel manager also helps hoteliers becoming more independent. So using more online channels might move your business from traditional reservation source into online one. For example, you can shift from relying heavily, for example, on wholesalers to introduce more OTA channels or booking engine as a main reservation source. One of the benefits of using channel manager is also increasing revenue. This is related probably to increasing occupancy. Working with multiple online channels at the same time and actively adjusting rates to current demand increase your chance to get more revenue from your online channels and from your online performance in general. Channel manager is also related to reducing cost. So intelligent automation provided by channel manager reduces your administrative cost and efforts. Depending on the automation level you opt for, you can cut lots or most manual processes related to inventory management or simply handling or cut handling reservations manually. And last but not least, channel manager is related to successful online distribution. So channel manager overall helps you to boost your hotel's revenue and increase profit. You can simply make more out of your online performance. So I could probably talk a bit more on channel manager benefits, but I think that for a start, for those basics, this is like a great starting point.
Yeah. So Pavel, just to make it maybe more clear on the benefits of channel manager, maybe when we are saying that managing rates and inventory without channel manager, it's kind of a humble statement. This is what I think, because imagine a hotel with a 4-star hotel, and let's say that this hotel has 5 room type, okay? And let's think that they are selling their hotel on occupancy based. So each room types can occupy a 3-person, which means that 3 different price. So you need to multiply 3 times 5, which makes it 15. Okay, let me make a quick calculation for you.
Okay.
Then let's say that this hotel is selling its inventory, its rooms with 4 rate plan, basic rate plans. Let's say, I mean, room only, non-refundable room only, bed and breakfast, non-refundable bed and breakfast, maybe 1 advance purchase and 1 special deal. And it makes it 6 rate plans. So we had 15 times 6, it makes it 90 different prices. Let's think that this hotel distributed its prices in 10 different channels, and 90 times 10 makes it 900. And we are talking about only for 1 single day's prices. Let's say that in a dynamic environment, if hotel want to change its prices 3 times in a day, 900 times 3, it makes it 2,700. And when we talk about for 30 days, I mean, if hotel want to make all these change for the next 30 days and 3 times each, so we need to multiply 2,700 times 30, and it makes it almost 100,000 change in a single day. So kind of, I mean, managing rates and inventory, if you are in a dynamic environment, sounds almost impossible to me to manage it without any channel manager, because there are too much data point, the rates that you need to distribute and control. But if you just make, if you push your prices only 1 time and change it like 1 time a month, which is against revenue management principles or yield management principles, but that's fine. But if you want actively yield your hotel, and if you want to do some revenue management, basic revenue management, you need to do these things. And what I gave as an example is very basic example where very basic hotels apply, and it can be more complicated, and it can be, when you consider a whole year, whole month, it can be like millions of data. So because I also met a lot of hoteliers who told me that they manage their inventory manually and they are happy with it. And somehow when we involved that, like, let's say, partnership, I did not meet a single hotelier so far that successfully manage manually their online channel. They only manage their main channels, like, let's say, Booking, Expedia, but the rest of the channels either has missing rate type, either has missing rate plan, or wrong rates, or they don't update it, or when they put somehow the special deals in Booking.com, they never put it in Expedia and other channels. So it's kind of important for hotels to use channel management technologies if they really want to manage their online. So I just want to share my thoughts on this with you as well.
Yeah, this was a very good. This was like a perfect point. Yeah. So in reality, managing prices without a channel manager in more, let's say, than 3 or 4 channels is almost impossible. So in reality, hotels and vacation rentals without any channel management software simply load rates once in let's say in a month, and those rates are fixed, and those rates are not being changed at all. And those properties just focus mostly on modifying inventory and closing out the days that should be stopped from sales. So yeah, you are perfectly right that without a channel manager, first you land with less channels, less online channels than you should have, and you reload your prices less often, or almost, let's say, or let's say once a month, once a year, or even rarer. So without this type of software, you cannot simply be very active. So with Channel Manager, you can be an active user, an active revenue manager. Without the Channel Manager, you can probably first you display your offer online. Yeah, there are some prices, but they are not subject to frequent changes. And probably you do not squeeze out of the market this revenue that you should have on your account.
Yeah, perfect. So I think that it's good to point these kind of subjects for our attendee to have a better understanding of overall topics. So thank you, Pavel.
Yeah, thank you very much for your question. So let's focus right now. On types of channels. So we already mentioned them. We named them like OTA, GDSs, wholesalers. But let's focus just for a while on the specifics and the characteristics. So
yeah, and this is very important, by the way. Thank you for adding this to your presentation, because these channels is confused most of hoteliers oftenly. So it's good that now you clarify them for them. So because these are channels that has basic difference. So I believe it's important for any hoteliers or hotel managers or investors to have a basic understanding the difference of these type of channels, and if they can have a basic understanding about what are the channels, and that would be amazing. And thank you for adding it to your presentation, Paolo.
Yeah, so even in our industry, we often use OTA, and behind this OTA, we think, for example, on wholesalers, on wholesalers or GDSs. So yeah, it's important to understand what are the basic difference between those types of channels, and there is a great diversity in types of channel interfacing with the channel manager. So let's start with the most popular one, which are online travel agencies. So these are marketplaces such as Booking.com, Expedia, or Airbnb, which provides bookings to hotels. This also includes social network rentals, meta search, or mobile reservation systems. So depending on the market and region, OTAs can produce up to 80% of all online reservations. So that's why it's probably easy to confuse OTAs with other types.
Yes, right.
Then we have an important source of reservations to mostly to big and to big hotels, which are GDSs. So GDSs are traditional closed network distribution platforms, such as, for example, Sabre or Pegasus, used by offline travel agencies to book travel-related services like flights and hotels for the end customers. So GDSs can be a source of very lucrative corporate bookings as well. So it's quite difficult to navigate through GDSs, but still, in, let's say, normal times when travel agencies are active and when companies are back to traveling, so this can be a great source of reservations, mostly for big hotels and for hotels that are standardized and let's say have at least 2 or 3 stars. Yeah, then we have wholesalers.
And by the way, Pavel, sorry to interrupt, but it's important for hoteliers to understand that they can connect GDS wholesalers, as you say, I mean the CRS, RMS, and through GDS, they can even sell their hotel to corporates as online, and maybe with a dynamic price based on their agreement, because most people think that corporate business is offline business and it's not yieldable segment. So in the world, I know that in New York now, when Google, our hotelier friends in New York, when make an agreement with Google type of companies, I'm giving as an example, they are signing a dynamic price, so where they feed this kind of GDS dynamically from a channel manager So corporates, even wholesalers can be dynamic channels. Even tour operators can be dynamic channels. So it's important for our hoteliers to understand opportunities that channel management software offer to them. So it's really a more advanced software than maybe they think. So it's very easy for them to manage their corporates, wholesales, the booking engines, CRS, RMS from channel management. So it's important. I just want to emphasize that.
Yeah, so those three channels that you mentioned go into dynamic prices as well. So first, you still can use their like contracted prices, which are, let's say, fixed prices that you, for example, negotiate and load to those systems, let's say once a month or once a quarter. But this dynamic sale there is growing really fast. So there are more and more sources of coming from small travel agencies that cannot, let's say, negotiate any fixed prices, or there are more and more reservations coming from companies that do not have any dedicated rates. So yeah, so as you can mention, right now those platforms, those systems can work with fixed prices and dynamic prices at the same time.
Right.
So
even if for fixed prices, Pavel, I think it's great opportunity to manage availability from channel manager. Let's say that you made a fixed price agreement with any tour operator, but it still would be nice to manage inventory dynamically, right? You can do that. I mean, you may not change prices, but you can simply manage your inventory. Even if you cannot do your revenue management over rates, you can do that over your managing your inventory. So really, channel management tools are offering great opportunities for hotels to yield their revenue.
Yeah, and we should also remember that no matter what is the source of reservation, whether it is like a fixed contract or dynamic contract, channel manager can still take all reservations and push them into the PMS. So right. They are in place. They are in this property management system. They are all in the property management system, organized and delivered there. So this is like also quite a big benefit for hotels to have everything in one place. So that the guests can be sure that their rooms are booked for them, and there is no hassles in terms of check-in of GDS customers. I do recall my experience with a vacation rental company from the beginning of 2000 when we never knew when a GDS customer could arrive. So the system of the beginning of 2000s, the system of notifying hoteliers on GDS reservations was quite bad. So you never knew when a GDS customer could knock your door and visit your property. So right now those times are right now we are in a bit different situations. So reservations are delivered almost in a real time from all those systems to the channel manager, and then they are pushed to PMSs.
Right.
Yeah. So we already mentioned wholesalers, like for example Hotelbeds or Travco. So wholesalers, it's a very simple definition: buy room nights in bulk to resell those rooms to other travel agencies.
And what do you think about the leakage? Do you want to mention about that a little bit, because I know that most of our attendees want to hear about that too. So what can you say to us about leakage of B2B prices to B2C, Paul? What I mean is that, for example, you give your prices to Travco, but Travco somehow give their B2B prices to, let's say, Zen Hotels or C-Trip, or I don't know, there are Amoma Hotels, there are many channels like that, and they sell it as B2C. And what happened is that hotelier kind of losing control over their price management. So what do you think about it? And do you have any suggestion to manage such a leakage, Paul?
Yeah, so yeah, this is a very important topic. It was a hot topic in 2019. It is a hot topic in 2020. So we can see that this leakage of wholesale rates to OTAs is still happening. So I think that you as hoteliers should press wholesalers not to share their rates to Booking.com's, Expedia's, and other OTAs. So for example, in case of Booking.com, so you probably heard of Booking.com basic feature.
Yes.
So when Booking.com.
So Pavel, just for our attendees to understand Booking.com's basic feature, do you mind if I explain it like 30 seconds? So
yeah, sure. Go on.
Yeah. So because maybe as far as I know, it's not in place in Turkey yet, but maybe it is, I don't know, but I never met it, but I saw it in different cities and countries. So with Booking.com basic features, Booking.com announced that they may also provide B2B, I mean, connected to third-party prices through Booking.com, which means that Booking.com start to show those wholesale price to the end users. What Booking.com will do is, let's say that if you provide 100 euro to Booking.com, and if you provide, let's say, 8 euro to Travco, and Booking.com simply show 90 euro from Travco, not to lose its customers to other OTA. So it's very important. I don't know what is waiting hoteliers in 2021, but B2B prices getting more complicated, and I think hoteliers need to manage it very carefully, which I think, Pavel, I don't know, what do you think? And now Booking.com with basic features get in the game, and it's now try to being a player to provide third-party prices, and I'm sure Expedia will follow them. So if Expedia and Booking.com involve it in the future heavily, then do you think that there will be a B2B price definition anymore? Because if your B2B price are published on B2C channels via Booking.com and Expedia that are like travel giants. So what is the what is the meaning of B2B price? And then I don't think that it makes any sense to provide B2B price anymore. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, so Erkan, you call this this phenomena a leakage, but in fact this is not a leakage. This is like an organized way of sharing the rates.
Yeah.
So we should not think of these events or like of a leakage of rates, because with leakage you have some kind. With leakage, leakage
unintentionally you do that. I understand, but it's very organized.
Some kind of an error, like a problem, like a rare situation. But this is like an organized way of right. So we cannot talk about leakage, but we can talk about the organized system of sharing those rates. So. So what can be done? I think that for example, we as a channel manager cannot do much with that, because we are not responsible for. We are not involved into this rate sharing between the systems. Right. But I believe that hoteliers should organize themselves and should press wholesalers to stop this activity. Because otherwise it all makes no sense, to use, I don't know, market segmentation to give one channel, let's say, a bit better prices or a bit better inventory and so on. So this rate leakage can ruin like a revenue management. In general, but I think what I hear in 2020, there are less and less events of this type. So I think that big OTAs and big wholesalers just feel the pressure. Just feel the pressure of
especially by the big chains, right, Pavel? I know that big chains are really doing big pressures, pressures on that. But then what happened, Pavel? Then because I've been telling this for the last 2 days. OTAs are really very clever, and once they feel that pressure, like the same thing happened in the brand name bidding via Google. You know it. I mean, the big chains never let Booking.com to bid their own brand name. But then what Booking.com and Expedia did is, okay, they stopped to bid big chains brand name, but now they start to bid independent hotels. So I take this opportunity to also maybe inform hoteliers that they need to be very careful about this, and they don't, as you said, they need to be very strict about their contract, and they really need to communicate effectively with those B2Bs who organizedly shared their prices with the B2C. So I will not say leakage anymore, as you suggest. But as you say, it's very important topic, and hotelier need to understand that they need to manage it, because sometimes we spend hours to try to explain hoteliers that this price is not from channel manager, because they think that the channel manager caused it, but it has nothing to do with channel manager. And most of the time, since it's very complicated topic, and OTA tend to tell that to speak channel manager provider, so they don't want to deal with it cleverly. So we just so most of the times this issue end up being our issue as channel manager provider, but hotelier need to aware that it's basically it's an issue with channel management, the B2B contracts. Right, Pavel?
So as you stated, like chain hotels are right now very active to battle this leakage, and also medium or even small hotels should push wholesalers to stop those action. Investigating this rate leakage or the source of the rate is also a journey, So even for us when you are asked where from the rate was taken for the booking, it's not easy, It's not easy to track it, as there are many dependencies between those rates, and there are many companies involved in sharing this rate. So this is quite difficult to understand. The good news is that the online travel agencies use like third parties like wholesalers for displaying rates only when they think that their own rates are very uncompetitive. So for an OTA to start displaying rate of a wholesaler, it is needed, for example, that an OTA rate is like 10 or 15% higher than the competitor's rate. So using those wholesalers' rate is like a punishment for hotels for inserting rates that are higher than the bookable rates in other systems. So this is like this practice is common, but only in terms of hotels that do play with rates more heavily.
Yeah, right. So it's been very important conversation and discussion, and thank you helping us to clarify this topic, Paul.
Okay, so we touch wholesalers. So let's focus for a while on property management systems. So this is a software like Opera or Protel that is either installed or cloud-based, and which is designed for daily management of the hotel. PMS system allows check-in, check-out, prepare invoices, manage prices, allotments, restrictions, and much more. Like this is like a heart of each hotel. So and this can be quite powerful systems. Among our customers right now, like there are like 75 or or even right now a bit more, like up to 80% of properties that use a PMS and channel manager together. So this is like a very good news for in terms of reducing the workload. Okay, I know that yesterday you discussed direct booking, so you know this you know this topic very well. So booking engines,
booking engines are the kind of softwares where we use to sell our hotel from our website. So which was our yesterday's topic, and we talked about this like almost 2 hours. Just as a note, the hotelier can also manage their booking engine from their channel manager. By the way, we had one answer. Actually, it was not a question, but a comment. The Mesut İnceoğlu told that all his time goes fighting with this issue, which are like B2Bs are leakage or organizedly provide their prices to the B2C. So he said that he stopped working with B2B. I think which is I think the right decision to do, because it doesn't make any sense to because actually Pavel, and he also says that actually it's a fight between OTAs and wholesaler, but we are squeezed between them. He's totally right. But I also want to I think it's a great opportunity to understand our audience and hoteliers that B2B business is dying. Why would bother B2Bs are selling their hotels through B2C if they are successfully sell it through their B2B channels? Because no one is now, maybe the clients who are above 55 and more still going to do tour operators or travel agencies to buy. But in my life, I don't remember that I sit down in a travel agency and bought a hotel or book any tickets. I did everything through online. So this is a big evidence for us, or big proof showing that really B2B business and B2B channels are losing blood, and they really somehow try to adapt B2C sales. So it's important for our hotels to understand that while they are making B2B contracts, those companies are losing their markets from offline to online. So it's maybe a good opportunity to hotels to dynamically manage their prices with companies who has only dynamic infrastructure and can be manageable via channel manager kind of, or CRS kind of systems. What do you think about this, Pavel?
I think that but still this right now, as we already mentioned, we are functioning in a bit weird times when this business travel is very limited due to the fact that companies are shy from allowing employees to travel. But still, there are markets where mostly big cities, where these wholesalers and wholesale customers can be a great source of reservations to a property. So, for example, if your property is somewhere on the coast and you rely mostly on individual tourists or holiday makers. So then maybe wholesalers might losing the ground in your property. But still, if you are a city hotel that expect, let's say, an employees of Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble to visit your property, this can be a really good source of reservation. So we should still remember that big companies have really deep links to wholesalers. Right. And big companies are still have contracts with wholesalers, and when coronavirus situation is ended up, I think that that this B2B business would be back. As I said, the bigger the city is, probably there is a bigger chance for a B2B customer. So I would not say that wholesalers are losing so heavily on all ends. They can be really beneficial contributors to reservation sources.
Right. I'm not saying, I'm not saying wholesaler business is losing, but I'm saying that wholesalers offline business is losing, because wholesalers are kind of trying to build online business where they can manage their business with a low cost and more effectively.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should still look at their hands and try to clarify this situation with sharing the rates with an online world, and stop those practices that harm simply hotels, and hotels can feel unsecure that some wholesalers would publish their rates, which are in most cases those wholesale rates are lower than published than B2C rates. So that's why this confusion is.
Yes.
Hoteliers can be confused about the fact of sharing those rates to the public. Okay, and regarding the types of channels, we have so we touched the booking engine and CRS already. So there is one type of channel that is growing really nice, which are revenue management systems that cover the aspects of analytics, demand forecast, and price recommendation. So RMS systems can help hotels to maximize their revenue and RevPAR by optimally pricing their rooms. So this is a software to simply help you design your price strategy and design your rates. RMSs were growing really rapidly until the coronavirus. Right now they are just reloading the algorithm to rely less on historical data, but and to rely more on the current situation. But still, this can be a really powerful tools for hotels that and for revenue management and revenue managers to focus on and to work with in terms of pricing the hotel services and rooms. Yeah, so this was like a short introduction to type of channels. We can probably name some few more like some interesting trends like some upselling software, but we will leave it right now as it is. Maybe we'll find some time to come back to this topic, and let's move forward.
Sure.
So we already mentioned that the channel types, and
yes.
Let's mention right now that the channel manager is an environment that can give you an access to really multiple channels. So right now we are integrated with over 400 channels.
Yes, and Pavel, I just want to tell our attendees that these are the channels that Hotel Linkage Channel Manager connected. So what makes Hotel Linkage Channel Manager unique in this aspect is Hotel Linkage Channel Manager is one of the unique channel managers that has self-connection, direct connection with these channels, and it doesn't use third party at all. And all these channels are connected directly to Hotel Linkage Channel Manager, and Hotel Linkage Channel Manager is one of the best channel manager in the world that has such a diversity of connection. Yeah.
So right now we can count, as the title suggests, we have over 400 channels like to help you reach the global market.
And as far as I know, Pavel, we covered almost all channels in Turkey as well, right? The channels that has a dynamic infrastructure in Turkey that has enough in technical infrastructure, we are connected to them. I know that we have 2 or 3 in queue, but we are also covering almost all channels in Turkey as well.
Yeah, I think we should mention that when there are new arrivals to the market, like where there are new arrivals, let's say to the Turkish market, so Channel Manager is like a flexible tool. Yeah, so we can
connect them to system.
Yeah, we can always connect them to the system. We can, of course, it needs some time. Let's say an average time is like 2 or 3 months when the connection is certified. First, we should spend some time on developing the connection, and then to certify the connection, and then to publish this connection and make hoteliers and enable hoteliers using that. But still, this is like a reasonable time, you know, to deliver the new connection to the market. So there are new arrivals on the market, and I hope that they would always be new arrivals to the market. Either to the global market or to the local market, like to the Turkish market. So if a hotelier thinks that there are some channels that are missing on the list, this is always like a topic for discussion. And we can discuss it, and we can check what is the potential of such a connection, what is the business case behind this connection, and we are very happy to make those 400 channels even larger, so that we add new PMSs, or we add new OTAs, or tour operators that are linked to any market. So. As you can see, as you can expect, there is a great variety of channels on the list.
Yes.
Not all of them will work for you. So if you see 400 channels, you think, oh my God, should I connect them all to my property? No, the answer is no. So even having 10% of those channels would be like crazy and very demanding for hotels to sign the contracts, to negotiate the terms and conditions, to meet some OTA or wholesalers representatives to talk with, and so on. So the right mix of channels, of course, on the hotelier side, and
depending on their region, market segmentation, right? Yeah. This is something hotelier need carefully examine and proceed accordingly.
Yeah, so there are markets like, for example, Sweden, when they Swedish hotels need like 5 or 7 channels to have a successful online distribution. There are markets like for example Ukraine, when it is let's say necessary or expected by hoteliers to have, let's say, 15 markets. So it depends on the market, how many
city, right,
and the city, how many channels you would like to start with. So the system is extremely flexible. So you can start some channels. So don't be shy of testing some connections. So if you think that there are channels that might work with you, so let's give them a try. Let's test them, let's measure the performance, and finally, after, let's say, half a year or a year, make a decision whether to go further, whether to continue with the channel, or just stop the channel. So this is a very flexible system that gives you the opportunity to make even some tests. And we do have many hoteliers that are very curious, and they are always happy to start new channels, to test them, to verify them, whether they would work, and this is perfectly fine. This is what the channel manager is prepared for, and is ready for.
And I think, Pavel, these times are great times to do that, right? Because I mean, we have a lot of time, so hotelier can spend time to know more about this channel, and may spend some time to make contract and connect it to channel manager. So it's great times to work on these kind of things, I guess.
Yeah, this is a great time, and probably as this business travel is it's at the lower level right now, probably it's a good time to test different OTAs, to check how they perform. Yeah, this is a great time. Yeah, the sad news that probably all hotels do have a bit less reservations right now. but still, this is a good time to prepare for the market to come back, because I believe that next year our markets would be recovered from this coronavirus situation. So yeah, this is a perfect time to do some tests, to check what works for you well, and it can be beneficial for revenue managers in 2021 and later on. Okay, so right now, let's. This was like a general introduction to the channel management, types of channels, the different integrations. So I would like to right now focus a bit more on the channel manager itself. So
yes.
I would like to.
You are on time, so 1 hour. Yes, 1 hour on the basics. Now we can definitely get into the details. We can show some juicy function of our channel manager system to the audience.
Yeah, so I will briefly name those features that I would like to share with you. This, of course, rate allotment and restriction management. This is a bulk update of data, so how to apply data to the system really fast and very often. This is a reservation handling, so receiving reservations from different systems and pushing those reservations to PMSs. This is a centralized allotment feature, which is like a common basket for all reservations and common basket for managing allotment in different channels. This is managing multiple rooms and rate plans at once, like for example, starting 20 rate plans and having them recalculated according to some rate relations introduced to the system. We would like to mention about protection against overbookings, and protection against incorrect data that can be introduced to the system. We'll briefly talk about rates, allotment, restrictions per channel. So you can even go very deep in terms of managing your rates and inventory, and put to the system rates and inventory per channel. So different one, let's say for Booking.com, different one for HotelZ, or any other. Then we will talk about different pricing models that we use in the channel manager. We call it per day pricing and occupancy-based pricing. We'll talk about organized way of applying rates to the system, which is called grids. We'll mention about promotions in OTA, which is trending really much right now. We'll talk about revenue rules, which is like an automated way of increasing or decreasing your rates. We'll take a look at analytics and mention working with multiple currencies at once. So this is
Pavel.
Yeah.
It's a great list, a great feature list. I think maybe we should discuss about promotions handling. This is one of the hot feature, and revenue rules, really hot feature. But before you proceed within the details, I believe we need to explain segments between channel manager softwares as well, because when we are in the market, I oftenly meet situations like, let's say that there are many channel managers in the market, but like cars, these channel manager has different features and some powerful aspects of these channel managers. Like there are cars like a low segment, there are cars like a high segment. So can you please also, because many of these features now we are mentioning cannot be done by many of the channel managers in the market. So can you please briefly talk about this to our attendees, just to give them an idea? Because I want hoteliers to aware that any technology in the market, travel tech technology in the market, might be different. It might have different features. One of them could be Mercedes, one of them could be Ford or Toyota. So nothing wrong with that. I just want our attendees to be aware of it and choose the right product for them. So can you please give us a brief explanation about the difference the channel manager software difference in the market, so hoteliers can have a basic understanding about it.
Yeah, so maybe I will start with the fact that our channel manager is considered, like, by Booking.com or by Airbnb a premier software software partner. So this is like a perfect sign that our channel manager meets meets expectation or can even satisfy very demanding customers, so that for example Booking.com can see that having more customers, let's say, with Yelp Planet means for them higher revenues.
Right.
Yeah, so we can bring due to the fact that we are very experienced on the market, we can bring much revenue to hotels and to OTAs at the same time. Yeah, so this is like partially answering to your question, where we are, that big global partners consider us as a premier software partner, and this is a great honor for us to be there.
Because these things can be sometimes very complicated, Paul. As you know, some OTA support occupancy-based, some OTA support per room type of connections, and it can be really very confusing for hoteliers, very technical topics. But our channel management software, one of the rare software in the market that can meet all these requirements and have successful connection in any type of pricing structure. So I just want to emphasize that too.
So in general, right now, channel managers are spread into two groups, two general groups. One group supports channel manager for supports hoteliers with the needs, and the second one supports vacation rentals. So there is a huge difference in terms of the needs of the vacation rentals companies and hoteliers.
Right.
So in terms of hoteliers and in terms of hotel needs, more features relating to revenue, relating to prices are needed within the tool, so that the hotelier can work according to its revenue plan. So our channel manager can work with very advanced pricing and with multiple rooms and rate plans to satisfy even very demanding hotels. So
I totally agree.
Yeah, so we are considered our features, our functionalities place us more as a hotel channel manager than as a vacation rental right now. But this vacation rental group is also increasing really rapidly, and it has this vacation rental group. Vacation rental properties do have their own needs, but they are in terms of vacation rentals, they require more like a proper operative distribution of data than such revenue tricks as our channel manager offered to hotels. So we do have really advanced pricing within the tool. So even if you take a look at the list, so most of the points that I put to the list are related to revenues and to price the services and hotel rooms accordingly.
So it's not only a tool to manage rates and inventory, it's a tool that help hoteliers to yield their room revenue, plus develop some hot online sales strategy by using this tool. So it gives a lot of flexibility for end user to increase their revenue by using our channel manager.
Yeah, and we are very active in terms of revenue management systems as well. So we see great potential in cooperating with revenue management systems. So
we have logic of revenue management systems as well.
Yeah, we have logic of revenue management system as well, and we are compatible with some big revenue management systems as well, so that they can load the data into the channel manager, and we push it successfully to OTAs. Yeah, so our channel manager is fit for supporting revenue pricing and very advanced rate and inventory management. So
Perfect,
this is how we are placed on the market.
Okay. By the way, we have some questions. Would you like to answer them now, or would you like to do that once you do some more introduction?
Yeah, sure. So let's go with the questions. Yeah, always happy.
Okay. We have one question from Mr. Çiftçi. Thank you for the great session. My question is that how to use Channel Manager effectively. Could you give us some examples, please? And I think Channel Manager is very important for online visibility besides management, the price and the availability, isn't it? So this is the question.
Yeah. So right now we'll focus on showing you the parts of the system and how the system works. So this is like the engine of the Channel Manager that is in front of your eyes. This is a section when you simply manage your rates, allotment, and restrictions. And indeed, Channel Manager is a very important tool in data distribution. So if you are, let's say, a property that is bigger than, let's say, 10 or 15 rooms, you simply have to think of such a tool, of such a software, in order to get as much revenue as you can from the market.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. So the other question is from Murat Yurtlu. Thank you so much for this beneficial information. And what about costing? Actually, I would like to ask you that which model should be the best, commission, deduction, or monthly annual fee? I think Mr. Yurtli is asking about product prices, and let me answer it quickly, Paul. I think it's more my area. So it's Mr. Yurtli, it's totally depending on your needs. You need to make that calculation. You need to make a basic calculation where you can see your total sales online last 3 years, get average of it and make calculation and compare it with the annual price, whichever is more profitable for you, go with that model. So another question from Sahran Ahmed. How do you see the channel manager? Are they more productive for independent hotels compared to the chains hotels, or for both? So what do you think, Paul? I think we answered this question, but maybe you want to rephrase it.
Could you please repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Sahran is asking is it okay for all type of hotels to use channel manager, or is it more beneficial to chains or independent hotels? Do you think only the chain hotels should use the channel manager, or any type of hotel can use it?
I think that any type of hotel can use the channel manager. So
and should use it, I guess, right?
Yeah, and should use it. Should use it.
Yeah.
So in terms of chain hotels, they might have even a bit easier to get reservations, because the brands are recognized. Like you are Marriott, when you are Hilton's, when you are Accors, Mercures, and so on. So you do have a great brand recognition. So it itself can produce much reservation for you. If you are independent hotel, you probably have to try a bit harder to get attention, to get the market attention. So probably for individual hotels, it is even more important to use the channel manager than for those brand hotels. So
right.
Yeah,
I totally agree. So even vacation rentals are heavily using channel managers to manage their inventory and prices, right, Paul? So it's getting more popular every other day.
Yeah, it's very popular right now. It is growing in popularity. So the biggest vacation rental company that cooperates with our channel manager does have like 1,000 apartments, a bit 1,200 honestly. So this company just puts all all those apartments into the system. Without any software like Channel Manager, this company probably could not support and could not get most of the revenue. So even for vacation rentals, this is like right now, this is like a must be. If you are, let's say, if your business is bigger than those 10 or 15 apartments, you just simply have to have some kind of a software that would support your daily activities. And having the software also means that you have much more time, for example, to work as a revenue manager, to satisfy your guests, to work on the quality of your property, just to focus on different aspects of the hotel activity.
Yes, perfect. And one other question from MG, can you give other example, rarely known, please, instead of booking.com? Actually, MG, as we talked during our session, you can go now hotellinkage.com/channels or the connections. You can simply review all our active connections. And as Pavel said, you need to test it. And when you see the list, I'm sure you'll recognize some of them, but it's really depending on the region. We suggest some channels because we have some data. If your hotel is in Istanbul, Antalya, Bodrum, it's depending on the region. The channels are different. So maybe you want to review that list in our website. So from Mesut İnceoğlu, another question, does Hotel Linkage Channel Manager consist guest messaging templates? Yes, with direct customers, because where we get their permission to communicate with them. So you can simply communicate with direct customers, which means that the customers that you get from your websites, and so we can send them any type of welcome message and after checkout message and any type of message. We can edit those templates. And okay, these are the questions, so you can continue.
Okay, so right now in front of your eyes, you can see a very basic screen from the Channel Manager that shows you prices, allotment, and restrictions that are saved to the system. So the core feature of the Channel Manager is rate, inventory, and restrictions management and distribution to all connected channels. So this rate, inventory, and restrictions can come from, can be saved to the system directly by a hotel user, can come from a property management system, can be delivered by revenue management system, or can be modified by revenue rules that are set in the system. So general rule of the Channel Manager is that every time that any of this data is subject to change, like you modify the rate, you modify your inventory, everything goes out immediately to all connected channels. So there is no more action needed on your side to push the rates, to push the allotment and inventory to connected channels. It is simply enough that you introduce new rate, introduce new allotment, introduce like minimum length of a stay or maximum length of a stay to the system, and we just take it and we send it further to connected channels. So so the Channel Manager is adapted to receive and send out not only rates and allotments, but also restrictions. So I will focus a bit more on those restrictions, because when we say about prices and inventory, like allotment, availability, so everyone understands what is that. And apart from prices and allotment, we can distribute and save
restrictions.
Restrictions, right? Like minimum length of a stay.
So Paul, just to make it clear, restrictions are a great way to yield your inventory and yield your revenue. So when you do that effectively from your Channel Manager, it really provides you great opportunity to manage everything from one point of control, not only rate, price, and availability, but also these kind of restrictions. So very, very valid point, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah, so those restrictions are minimum length of a stay, maximum length of a stay, sell or stop sell feature, close to arrival, close to departure, and release days. This release days is mostly used with wholesalers to free up your inventory there. So apart from the standard, the prices and inventory, we can use multiple distribution parameters, like to enhance your revenues, and those prices, allotment, and restrictions can be applied in a different way to different rate plans. So, for example, you can have rate plans with a minimum length of a stay of, let's say, 3, and you can have basic rate plans like bars or standard rate plans without any minimum length of a stay restrictions, and so on. So, this is a very flexible system, and using multiple rate plans gives you the opportunity to apply different restrictions to those different rate plans. So, for example, you can construct, you can set advanced purchase deals, last minute deals, like minimum length of a stay deals, and so on. So depending on your revenue the strategy, a revenue way of thinking of managing your prices, you can apply those restrictions freely to one or more of your rates at the same time.
By the way, Pavel, I just want to note that to our hoteliers, tools are important, like channel manager tools are important tools. But before you start to use channel manager, I believe one point is really, really important, which is that setting up your price and rate plan strategy and your campaign calendar deals. So you need to decide as hotel what kind of room type you will have, what kind of rate plan you will have, what kind of special deals you will have, and what kind of rate plan structure you will set up through channel manager. Before you set it up in channel manager, you need to spend time, maybe 2 days, even 1 week, with executive team in your hotel to structure on a paper, maybe in Excel, even like a pen and paper would be fine. You need to write it down, and you need to decide what kind of rate plan and room type structure will be available online. Once you decide it on the paper, it's very easy to implement it in your channel manager. So as Pavel said, you can create one rate plan with a minimum 3-night restriction, and maybe you can create one rate plan with the last minute restriction. So you don't need to go to a promotion section of OTA every time. So you can simply update your mentioned rate plans to manage even your special deals right from in the channel manager.
Yeah, it's a very good remark. Before you start working with the channel manager, you should think of your room and rate plan structure, so that at least you should know.
You need to get professional help. I mean, it's not something that I mean, it requires some professional knowledge to do that. I mean, just it's something that some professional need to do that. It's not something done by someone has no knowledge about the basics of maybe revenue management, even like intermediate level of revenue management, intermediate level of online distribution system. So the person who will structure it need to have some intermediate level of understanding about online distribution, revenue management, and internet sales of your room. So it's important point.
Yeah, probably you cannot afford too much tests in that area. Yeah, it's better to rely on professional help, because otherwise, what is also important to mention is that once you start with some kind of a structure of room types and rate plans, this is also a subject to change. Yeah, so when you make a decision on your own or with a professional that you need to modify, for example, your rate plans, you need to introduce new rate plans to the system and to OTA channels. The system is very flexible, so that you can modify your initial setup and go and just grow with the time. So. Yeah, this was a very good remark. So let's move further to bulk data update, which is like the channel manager is a tool simply simplifying managing rates, allotment and restrictions. As you can see in here, we do have multiple rooms and trade plans, and we can manage them really easily. We can save new rates, new allotments, new minimum length of, or maximum length of a stay every time or multiple times a day. So the channel manager, there are no limits in modifying your data, so that you can reload all your prices or inventory multiple times a day if you see a business case in such an activity. So after inserting any new data into the channel manager send it through to all connected channels shortly after your action. To support your daily operations, the channel manager offers you possibility to sorry for modifying sorry for jumping into another screen.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
To support your daily operations, you can apply let's say data to different date ranges at once. So for example, just imagine that you need to modify your rates for September of 2021 and December of 2021. There is a gap between those two dates. You can simply put different date ranges and to apply the same set of data for those 2 months. You can also increase or decrease your rates by an amount or some percentage points. So for example, if one of your rooms is out of order, you can decrease all your inventory in the channel manager, increase or decrease, in this case, decrease your inventory in the channel manager by 1, without saving from the scratch the new values of inventory. Yeah. So this is like
pretty much everything.
Yeah, we cover in here pretty much everything in terms of the parameters. So this is like a very powerful screen to apply new data, to send it through to the channels, and to observe whether there is any action from customer side, how customers consider your data, your prices, your inventory, and whether they book those prices and inventory or just wait for some kind of a discount or promotion.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's move forward. Let's move to reservation handling. So like possibility of downloading reservations with a channel manager and sharing reservation with hotel PMSs is by any means the most basic and trending feature of the system. So reservation can be downloaded from all channel types, including OTAs, wholesalers, tour operators, direct bookings, booking engines, GDSs. In case of major market players, like we mentioned, Booking.com, Expedia, Hotelbeds, Airbnb, the channel manager not only downloads reservations but also emails those reservations to hoteliers, and this is being done in a real time. So reservations are downloaded in real time, and the system is also configured to make an action of refreshing inventory to all channels after receiving any reservation. This feature is called centralized allotment. So this is like a basket of all the rooms that you have at your property.
So the system also gives nice analytic to the end user, right? How many reservations they received, I mean, which channel, so they can easily manage their online segment here, and they can see opportunities, I mean, flops and ops through this screen, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So you can easily check out in more than one section of the channel manager how many reservations you received from your online channels. You can do some reporting. You can even export all data to an Excel file for making your own I don't know reporting, pivoting, and so on. You do have access to all sources of reservation, and you can easily check them all. If a channel manager is a PMS connected tool, then all those reservations are delivered into your PMS, and in the PMS you do have an additional reporting where not only online reservations are displayed, but you can also check like group reservations, direct reservations, walk-ins, and so on. Yeah, so in the channel manager, you would find the reporting on all online sources of reservations.
So Pavel, I just want to tell you that we have another 30 minutes left. I just want to give you a heads up just to adjust your
presentation. So I probably need to speed up a bit to have to be on time. Yeah, it is perfect that we can discuss different topics. It's easier to
because there are many topics that would be great if you can briefly mention them. I don't want to miss any of those important topics, so I just want to give you a heads up. Thank you.
Okay, so let's move to the central allotment feature that we already mentioned. So mentioned a moment ago, central allotment feature is in charge of adjusting allotment after registering any reservation to the channel manager. So the basic behavior of central allotment is to decrease the number of rooms available after any new reservation and return canceled rooms to the system. Let's discuss the very basic scenario. So for example, you as a hotelier have 10 double rooms available when the reservation comes. And then the channel manager decreases availability from 10 to, let's say, 9. And distributes it everywhere to all connected channels. So central allotment is like a basket of all your available rooms, and the central allotment reacts to reservation received from different online channels. So central allotment also gives you the flexibility, the settings flexibility. So for example, central allotment behavior can be set according to your distribution preferences. And for example, instead of returning canceled rooms to the basket, the system can perform no action or just refreshing the inventory at your online channels. So just imagine a situation that you have 10 double rooms, you just received a cancellation. So theoretically, the system can increase your inventory to 11. But for example, if you do not expect such a behavior, the system can stay at 10 and just push again 10 rooms to all connected channels. Such a behavior, when those canceled rooms do not return to the basket, is very often with hotels, with city hotels that work with overbookings. That by purpose they simply register and allow more reservation to come in, and hotels working with overbooking policies just simply count that some of the rooms would be simply canceled if there are too many of them already booked. So the channel manager enables you to work with multiple rooms and rate plans at once. What Erhard already mentioned is it's good to use the professional help to set your rate plans portfolio. It is extremely easy to introduce rate linkage in the system to make you everyday to support your everyday activity in terms of inserting new data in a fast and efficient way. So in case of many hoteliers, they just put one rate to the system, to so-called parent room and parent rate plan, and this rate is being recalculated according to some mathematical formulas that are set in the channel manager. So those mathematical formulas introduced to the channel manager can be differentiated according to your, for example, to your seasons, your fares or weekdays. So for example, just imagine that you would like to have your double room be always, let's say, 10 euros more expensive than your single room. But at some situation, let's say during the first or during the high season, you would like your double rooms to be higher by let's say 20 euros than a single room. So you can introduce such different values and different mathematical formulas that can address your advanced revenue needs.
Paul, by the way, this is very powerful screen. I mean, when you consider big hotels or even small hotels that has very dynamic pricing, it can automate many things in the hotel. You can give unlimited formulation plus unlimited period of time. So once you sit down in the software, once you set up your pricing structure, you don't need to go back and manage the spend time for these things. Anything system can automatically automate every process for you once you set it up. And I think the opportunity is limitless here because you can make many kind of formulation, many kind of visit period. If you see the plus in the screen, so it gives you really unlimited opportunities to create formulas and the date period. So it's also one of the most powerful aspect of the Hotel Linkage Channel Manager.
Yeah, and in comparison to our competitors, you know, in most cases they do have such mathematical formulas embedded into their software, but in most cases you can introduce just one formula, which is
it's not as advanced as this one. This is almost limitless, as we discussed.
Yeah. So so let's move forward. So these are those formulas that are shown on a rate plan level. So while linking rate plans, you can also use formulas calculating prices upon a given number of persons. So for example, this will help you convert your room-only rates into your BB rates or half-berth rates according to the number of travelers accommodated within a room. So having so much flexibility in calculating rates can you can be sure that you can set in the system even your very complex prices and that your needs regarding different seasons can be met in the channel manager tool. So let's take right now probably we all dream of overbookings when when there are not enough, where there are a bit less customers. Normally during my entire career we quite often mention this overbooking protection that the channel manager offers. So with the channel manager, during the high season, you simply minimize the risk of overbooking. So when inventory is depleted to zero, a channel manager's central allotment function will automatically stop sales and alert you about the situation via an email message. So in normal times, or during the high season, this is a very important to have this overbooking protection and to be sure that the system would react to all reservations almost in real time. Apart from overbooking protection, the system can be designed so that it can block you from inserting dangerously low or high rates or dangerously low or high allotment or restrictions. So while implementing the system, you are asked to insert your minimum and maximum values of prices or availability, so that the system can help you and can protect you from not from you, but simply from human errors. Yeah, from time to time we see the situation that someone, let's say, wanted to insert a rate of 125, and instead of that the last digit was omitted, and and the hotelier just put like 12 into the system. So the system will help you to protect you against incorrect data. Yeah, so just please take a look at the minimum price in action. So will not only warn you that the price that you are going to save to the system is too low. In some cases, we just like with minimum price, we just simply block you from inserting the rate that is too low, and that can cause some financial damage to your revenue. Yeah, apart from that, we can detect some unbookable days, and this is a topic which is right now which is trending right now. The channel manager can also recognize unbookable date, for example, due to minimum length of a stay applied. So if, for example, a hotel user applies a minimum length of a stay of 3 days, but there is only, let's say, 1 or 2 consecutive days with inventory, the channel manager can report such inconsistency. Yeah, so like in the case showing here, yeah, you've got the inventory of 1 set for 24th of August, and the minimum stay of restriction of 3 which is applied. So such a date is simply unbookable. So this is like
this is very important feature as well. It's very important for hotelier to spot these kind of dates. Yeah. Maybe they will never aware if system doesn't inform them for such a date. And hopefully we'll see those dates soon, but it's when those days come, this is very important feature.
Yeah, simply you take a look at your calendar, you can see, okay, I've got some availability, I've got some inventory, so I just do expect that I would receive some reservation for the 24th of August, and it can never happen. Yeah, when this and there are some restrictions that are applied. So depending on the property, the properties that work on a daily basis with means restrictions, so probably need such features very much during the high season, to find those holes in the calendars, and to modify those restrictions that are simply unbookable. Yeah, rates, allotment, restrictions per channel. So the channel manager enables a property to set separate rate or allotment values for 1 or many channels individually. So instead of sending the same data by default, let's say to Booking.com, HRSs, hotel beds, AutoZ, you can set individual calendars for all those channels. So you simply say different rate for Booking.com, different rate for Expedia, different rate for AutoZ. So probably your rate management is, let's say, more advanced in such a situation, when instead of having 1 calendar, you work with multiple calendars. But this is doable. This is what is also the channel manager for, to help you with managing those multiple calendars at once. Okay, and let's focus right now on different pricing models that you can use in the channel manager. So there are 3 basic pricing models that the channel manager can offer you. So these are per day pricing and occupancy-based pricing with some mathematical formulas, and occupancy-based pricing, that is where all rates are standalone, and this model is fully prepared to be and fully compatible with PMSs. So let's start with per day pricing. Per day pricing is a very basic model, and it's still used very often. So this model supports price lists in which rates are defined per room type, irrespective of the number of persons accommodated. So in this model, for example, if you have a double room, so the same rate, The same rate applies if you have one guest within a double room, and the same rate applies if you have two guests within your double room. So there is no differentiation in terms of rates. Those rates are saved and distributed irrespective of number of persons that can be accommodated within a room. That's why there are more advanced models which are called occupancy-based pricing. With occupancy-based pricing, you can support price lists in which rates are defined per not only per room type, but can vary depending on the number of adults accommodated within a unit. So you can, for example, within a triple room, you have a different rate for one person, you have a different rate for two persons, and you have a different rate for three persons. And there is a occupancy-based pricing that is cut for PMS when all those rates are fully independent. So, for example, in case of the screen that you have in front of your eyes, you can see that, for example, for the 17th of August, the rates are exactly the same for all occupancies. But, for example, for the August 20th, the rates for one person, two persons, and three persons are differentiated. So you are free to apply. So in this model, you are free to apply rates, different rates to according to the room occupancy. And those occupancy-based pricing is like a future in our industry. It is trending really fast. It is growing really fast. So at the beginning of 2020, Booking.com started to accept standalone occupancy rates. So previously, Booking.com, for example, showed different rates for different occupancies, but you as a hotelier had to introduce a fixed formula in Booking.com to recalculate the basic rates into child occupancies. Right now, we as a channel manager can deliver all rates that are standalone, and they can be managed separately, which is a very powerful tool in terms of revenue. So let's focus right now on grids. This is a topic which I like very much, and I think it's a very powerful tool for revenue management. Price grids are predefined rates ready to use anytime. So this is probably the most sophisticated way of managing prices manually in the channel manager. So grids gives users much freedom and flexibility when applying rates. Fixed links between rooms and rate plans can be ignored while your property is on grids. Grids are very enthusiastically chosen by experienced revenue managers because they offer an option to define dozen or so rate levels tightly linked with occupancy levels at your property and forecasted demand. So first of all, when you use grids, you have to program your rate levels in advance and think of different rate scenarios. So in the most simplified approach, you can, for example, set rates for low, medium, shoulder, high seasons, and additionally, for example, one rate level for the first. So having those five rate levels, you have 5 grids that you can use anytime. Now your job as a revenue manager is to simply pin those grids to the calendar dates and to different date ranges. You can always modify your grid. So for example, if you see that your occupancy is right now higher, you can go with grids that cover higher rate levels. If you see that your occupancy is a bit lower and you do not expect much demand, you simply pin to those dates the grids, the rate levels that are a bit lower. In general, those grids are like a predefined rate levels. So you as a revenue manager, probably with the help of maybe with the help of some kind of a professional, you just design those grids, put them into the system, and for example, tell your receptionist, okay, so when occupancy in our property is, let's say, 90%, then you use the grid number 1. When the occupancy level in our property is 25%, you just use the grid number 10, and so on. So this is like a very structured approach to managing your rates in the system. Promotions. Promotions set in most OTA channels require creating additional rate plans and modifying mappings in your channel manager. But right now, unlike most OTAs, Booking.com and Airbnb promotions are managed in a bit different way. So you can simply, on top of your existing rate plans, you can predefine some discounts. So this is a trend that will stay with us for longer.
So, I mean, I think this is very important, Pavel. As far as I know, as you said, Booking.com and Airbnb now allow channel manager to enter promotion without going to extranet. So,
yeah.
What are the other channels? Will we be able to do that for Expedia, Agoda soon? Do you have any insight about it?
Yeah, so we expected Expedia to start with those promotions 2020, and this has not yet happened. So I mean, there are promotions in Expedia extranet. They can be managed manually by hoteliers there, but we expect that Expedia would share with us and use that they are right now ready to support promotions via API. Because this would be like a very powerful tool for hoteliers to be able to start like even short even promotions for let's say short date ranges within a channel manager. So we are going. Yeah, we are going.
By the way, we have 8 minutes left. Pavel, you don't need to go bye-bye because most hoteliers are familiar with it. And tomorrow's session, we will go about promotions. So it's good that we know that now channel manager, actually the OTA allow channel managers to manage promotions without going to extranet. This is good. So thank you. It's a great news.
Yeah. Okay. So so creating promotions. So apart from seeing the results of promotions, so of course we can create promotions in Booking.com or Airbnb right now. We expect more channels to follow and to be ready to receive promotions from the channel managers. And let's take a look at revenue rules for a while. Revenue rules are provide automatization in management of prices and allotment. So
and it's very important, by the way. I know it's almost 2 hours and people, maybe they lose their focus on the topic, but I just kindly ask them to focus here because this is really very beneficial features for hotels to manage their price and inventory automatically, even when because most sales departments are closed at 6. But most reservations are picking up at night. So these kind of features allow them to manage their rates and availability even while they are in bed. So it's a good feature.
Yeah. So this feature like provide automatization management of prices and allotment. So I will just provide you a very simple case. So just imagine you have last 3 rooms left, and you expect that the channel manager would increase your rate per 10%, seeing that you have your last rooms on the offer. And at the same time, where for example, you have your last rooms available, you can close out some channels, for example, the most expensive OTAs, and let's say, leave inventory only in your direct booking, only in your booking engine, only on your website, so that the last rooms availability would be put only to your own website. So and at the same time, for example, we can imagine a situation that when you have plenty of rooms, channel manager can automatically decrease your rate by 10% and make some kind of a promotion out of it. So decrease the rate, send it over, increase the inventory at your channel. So this is like a very powerful tool. In many cases, it's very practical in terms of managing your last rooms available.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, and what do we have? We already mentioned analytics. So we mentioned that within a channel manager, you can see occupancy report. You can compare your occupancy report to the last year. So if you are with the channel manager long enough, you can see the data from last year, and you can compare how many rooms last year you registered for the same dates. So this is like a very powerful tool. So analytics section would help you to retrieve your online reservation and compare the sources of your online reservations. And last but not least, I would like to mention that channel manager would allow you to work with more than one currency. So for example, there are markets where you need to work with more than one currency. So for example, you need to send, let's say, rates to hotel beds in euros, but at the same time you would like Odamax connection to be fed in Turkish lira. So the channel manager can accommodate this need. So we are able to transform the rate and to send different rate in different currency to one channel, and to support different channel with a different currency. So so that you do not have to calculate the rates manually.
So Pavel, in this feature, it's really great feature. I don't know, the challenge with this feature, I mean, for our market, just I want to tell that we have high fluctuations in exchange rates. So sometimes when you set a fixed rate to convert it to Turkish lira, and it may end up you to provide many rate parity, because let's say that if euro is getting higher suddenly, then your price calculation in Turkish lira is get higher, and it will be higher than the Booking.com's provided Turkish lira, because while Booking.com and Expedia are getting dynamic rates for the currency exchange, I think we are adding it fixed rates, right? While we do that into system.
Yeah. So in terms of exchange, in terms of exchange rate, this is like a rate that is managed manually by hoteliers. So you simply visit the channel manager and you decide what is your currency exchange rate. So
yeah, maybe, I mean, Pavel, is a point. Maybe Turkish market is just shooting some idea. So maybe we can provide two options to hotelier for this feature, where, I mean, if they want to add manual exchange rate, that's fine. Maybe we can provide some Google exchange rate or XE exchange rate, so it can fetch it dynamically.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. So once we research the market, so we heard from hoteliers that still they would like to have an influence on this exchange rate.
Yeah, they do. So it's good to provide them, because.
But anyway, if you think that some kind of automatization, I know that the Turkish lira is like a very dynamic in terms
very
of
dynamic, and you can
exchange rate fluctuation. Yeah. So we can think of such a
in 10 days or 5 days you can see like 20-30% difference. So what I'm trying to say, it's impact hoteliers and prices. So when your prices is 100 euro, and when you select Turkish lira in Booking.com, you see, let's say, 700 Turkish lira, because the exchange rate is 7, and when you put fixed 7 there, that's fine. But when euro suddenly increase 7.5, and when someone see Booking.com 750, while they see in Odamax 700, so this is what I'm trying to tell.
Yeah, so we can think of that absolutely. So to support and to make your life easier when these fluctuations are really rapid, and and like as you said, they can be quite dramatic. So yeah, so this is a very good point. So
Yeah. And thank
so
you.
I would like to thank you for your attention. So I hope that you enjoyed your session, and if you have any more questions, so please feel free to ask any right now. I know that we used our 2 hours. I thought that we would make this entire presentation, let's say, 1 hour and a half, but yeah, I was over optimistic.
Yes.
But anyway, thank you for the questions that appeared in the meantime. It was
yes, and thank you very much for your time as well, Pavel. I think it's been a great session. I know that channel manager is always many numbers, many things to focus, and it can be complicated. Even, I mean, if by these sessions, if we can explain our attendees or hoteliers, if they can understand that these kind of tools or setting these kind of tools is not as easy as they think. So they need to dedicate time, they need to dedicate some knowledge here, and it really requires some profession. So it's good point for us to do these kind of events for attendees so they can have some basic understanding about this tool, which I believe to build better strategy, better online strategy for hoteliers. So thank you very much once again, Pavel, for
thank you
your
very
time.
much for having me, for inviting me here. It was a pleasure to see so many participants. So yeah, it was like
yeah, perfect. Again, hundreds of hoteliers watch us today, and I really thanks them not to leave us alone with these sessions. And again, thank you very much, and have a great one, Pavel.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye
Thank you, and goodbye, everybody. Thank you all for being with us today. Have a great day.